At the company party, I got way too drunk and lost a game, forcing me to kiss the person sitting next to me. I ended up pouncing on the gorgeous guy beside me. Only after the kiss did I realize I didn't even know him. "Excuse me, who are you?" He smiled, lips curled up. "I'm your boss." The company threw a party. Everyone got wasted and insisted on playing truth or dare for losers. Losers had to either answer a question or face punishment. Our table got so rowdy, people kept joining in. That's when this cute guy sat next to me. He was genuinely handsome, deep eyes, flawless skin, especially those deep dimples. He looked shy like a quiet kid. The thing is, he seemed familiar. I'd seen him somewhere before, but couldn't place him. That handsome guy was my downfall one moment of distraction, and I lost the round. My sister fired off a soul-crushing question. "Share your most heartbreaking unrequited love story?" That question hit me hard, dredging up painful memories. I chose punishment without hesitation. She just laughed even harder. "Your punishment is to kiss any random person of the opposite sex at your table. Is this something humans do?" The crowd started cheering, excited like they had some kind of disease. Now the pressure was all on me. I couldn't back down now. It's just a girl pouncing on a guy. What's the big deal? Scanning the table, only 3 beings qualified as opposite sex. 2 were married with kids. To avoid wrecking someone's family, I zeroed in on the guy next to me. My head may fall, my blood may spill, but I won't bow before a bet. As a modern young woman, I shouldn't have a fear of men. I downed a whole bottle of beer and stared drunkenly at his handsome face. Our eyes met. He blinked those clear, almond-shaped eyes, his gaze pure and confused. The next second, I touched his soft cheek, pouting pitifully, trying to get him to make the first move. Raise your head to gaze at the bright moon, lower your head to kiss me. My little brother frowned, pushed my hand away, and spat out 2 words with a sour expression. "No way." I felt even more heartbroken. My crush rejected me, and now even my little brother turned me down. The alcohol kicked in, numbing my brain and taking control of my body. His good looks only made things worse, clouding my judgment. I pounced on him like a mountain crashing down. He tried to resist, but he'd never wrestled with me before. In a few swift moves, I planted a smack on his lips, greeting his mouth with a kiss. The awkwardness hit the moment I finished kissing him. The entire table stared at me in shock, their eyes silently mourning my misfortune. As the alcohol wore off, that fair, handsome face looked strangely familiar. I belched. "You look familiar. Have we met before?" His deep eyes twinkled with amusement. "My senior, I'm Ian. Back in school, you bullied me all the time." "Oh, now I remember." No wonder he looked so familiar. "You're working at our company now?" He nodded. "Yep, just started." "All right, your senior will look out for you." I slapped his chest first, then pinched his soft, dewy cheeks like I used to. "So, what's your position?" The kid struggled to suppress a smirk, his tone teasing. "I'm your new boss." A bolt from the blue. I'd actually tormented my new boss. My head buzzed, and I froze in shock. I was done for. Shivering, I scrambled away, rolling and crawling until I was gone. No one could stop me. Thinking back to all the things I'd done to him, I knew I was finished. Ian was 2 years younger than me. We were in the same club and even shared a group. He was the super quiet guy nobody hung out with, so he often tagged along with me for a while. I made it my mission to torment my little brother, pinching his cheeks, twisting his arms. Now look at us, old grudges and new ones piled high. Honestly, I might as well be buried alive. When I woke up, the company's long-dormant gossip group had reignited because of me. Getting caught up in the drama you created. Talk about irony. Thanks to them, I've gained a whole new perspective on Ian. Turns out his mom is our company's big boss. This kid descended to Earth, purely for a taste of life. The next day at work, the gossip crowd wasn't shy about it. Everyone who saw me gave me a thumbs up. I was stunned. A few girlfriends surrounded me, demanding to know what it felt like to kiss the boss. After savoring the memory, I gave the crowd a thorough, responsible report. Honestly, it was just normal, Nothing special. A chorus of wails erupted. I felt surrounded by a pack of jealous haters. Then, a teasing voice suddenly came from behind. Hey, wanna try kissing him again? Oh no, gossiping behind his back and getting caught red-handed. This was it. My career was over. Cold sweat pouring down my back. I turned around and met a pair of obsidian eyes. The boss. Ian chuckled, waved his hand, and the others quickly dispersed. Left alone with him, he took a commanding step forward, his tone teasing and sly. You're pretty bold. How are you going to make it up to me? I took 2 steps back, steeled myself, and blurted, How about you yell at me? His laughter grew louder, 2 dimples deepening on his cheeks like cups brimming with rich, fragrant wine. Fine by me. I was just joking, but he agreed without hesitation. Clearly, this guy wasn't someone to stick around with for long. Forget it, you don't know me. I just like to talk trash. Ian nodded. True. If you didn't know me, you'd want to curse at me. If you did, you probably want to punch me. He had me beat. Then tell me. His eyes twinkled. I want a coconut latte. I got it instantly. Got it, boss. I'll get it right now. With that, I turned to dash off. Wait. He called me back, pulling out his phone and displaying a QR code. Add me as a friend. Everyone in the office gets a cup on me. I grinned cheekily. What about me? He paused, likely never having met someone so shameless, and rubbed his temples. Yes. Besides coffee, get yourself a cupcake too on me. Long live the boss. I mentally gave him a thumbs up. He lifted the corner of his mouth. Nothing special. You need energy to cry after eating. Ian's arrogant, commanding looks had already made a bunch of beauty-obsessed people go wild, and this move instantly maxed out their goodwill toward him. The coffee arrived. I went to deliver it to him, reaching the office door just as I was about to knock. Suddenly, a loud slap echoed from inside. I jumped in fright. Ian's voice followed immediately. I refused to agree anyway. Oh, and I'm hiring an assistant. Just keep that in mind. Before I could recover, the door swung open. A middle-aged woman dressed in elegant attire emerged, her face dark with anger. My heart skipped a beat. Nervously, I greeted her. The Director Dong. Her complexion was terrible, her expression almost frightening. She gave me a condescending glance, but ignored me entirely, striding straight past. A chill ran down my spine. My heart raced with anxiety. After a few seconds of hesitation, I steeled myself and knocked on the door. Ian looked up, a startling red mark now visible on his pale cheek. Beneath his thick, dark brows, his eyes seemed shrouded in shadow. His jet-black pupils revealed nothing of the emotions surging within. His lip was slightly swollen. Spotting me, he gave a crooked grin, a mix of mischievous bad boy charm and a hint of vulnerability. I felt awkward, but he didn't seem to care. Wiping his lip, he asked teasingly, What do you want? Oh, your coffee. Knowing too much, I feared silencing, so I dropped the coffee and fled. Back at my desk, my butt hadn't even warmed the seat when a shriek pierced the office. I looked up to see Ian slip out unnoticed. I pretended not to see, lowering my head to unwrap the cake box. No matter how handsome my little brother is, nothing beats a good meal. Opening the box revealed my favorite Black Forest cake. I chewed quietly, savoring every bite. Just then, he suddenly wandered over to me, lingering nearby instead of leaving. I froze. This was seriously messing with my focus. He picked up the lychee milk tea from my desk. We agreed I'd treat. Why didn't you order the jumbo size? I don't like jumbo sizes. My words slipped out before I could think. After I said it, he couldn't help but chuckle. He curved his lips into a smile, 2 dimples spreading at the corners of his mouth, blending roguish charm with cuteness. Especially that startling red at the edge of his lips, adding a touch of vulnerability that made me feel like I wanted to protect him. Our brief eye contact left my face flushed, and I tried to hide my awkwardness by leaning in for a bite of cake. Just as I lifted a small piece of cake, before it even reached my mouth, Ian suddenly leaned in, his handsome face coming dangerously close. I froze. That split-second delay was all it took. I watched helplessly as he shamelessly ate the cake. My desk was tucked away in the back row, farthest corner. My 2 desk mates were absent at the moment. He'd snatched my cake and I didn't even have a witness. What was even worse? He stood sideways, his tall, slender frame blocking me from view. To anyone watching, it looked like I was feeding him. Not content with stealing my cake, he raised an eyebrow, his voice sly. "It is pretty good. Count me in for the next order." He then strolled away leisurely. The office fell deathly silent. My coworkers instantly revealed their true, gossip-loving selves, shooting me meaningful glances. While the office maintained a facade of order, the small group chat had already exploded. "So you two have more than just last night's gossip to share. Mr. Ian actually let you feed him cake, interview him. How did it feel?" I was numb. "Sisters, don't believe every piece of gossip. Let's keep it civil." Just as I was about to retort, a message popped up in the group chat, stinging my eyes. "Didn't you know Mr. Ian has a girlfriend?" The freshness of this new gossip diverted some of the heat from me. "Really? Spill the details." "Mr. Ian's girlfriend is the daughter of one of our company's major clients. I heard it from someone at his company." I heard too. They're having a big fight right now. Because of this, the chairman lost his temper with Mr. Ian and even slapped him. So that's why, no wonder. I endured the rest of the day like sitting on pins and needles. While others kept up appearances, I bolted the moment my shift ended. Just as I passed his office, the door opened at the perfect moment. He was holding his coat, looking nonchalant, clearly ready to leave too. "Don't forget the client's factory inspection tomorrow. You need to attend too." I hadn't forgotten. It was scheduled long ago, but with his sudden arrival, he'd taken over as the lead. "Got it. Let's go together. I'll drive you." "No need. I live far away." "Then I should definitely drive you." The subway commute is too grueling. The sedan sped along. Ian drove intently, the fading sunset glinting through his hair like bursting fireworks. I stole a few glances at him. His thick brows arched lazily, casting deep shadows beneath his long, slightly curled lashes. The scenery outside blurred by as memories grew hazy. Back in college, he'd been so reserved, blushing at the slightest exchange with girls. How had he transformed into someone who seemed to have escaped from some mental institution? "What are you having for dinner, senior?" A smile played at his lips as he initiated the conversation. I glanced at his well-groomed face in the rearview mirror and sighed silently. "Nothing. Dieting." He glanced at me while waiting for the red light. "You're perfectly proportioned. No need to diet." That was probably the most soothing thing I'd heard all year. "You don't know how much I weigh." "If you did, you wouldn't say that. Heroes don't ask about origins. Girls don't ask about weight." "Oh, right. You finally seem normal in my eyes." Just as I was at a loss for words, a call from my roommate saved me from the awkwardness. "Daphne, my boyfriend's coming over tonight. Don't come back before 9 p.m. "All right, then." Ian looked at me indifferently. "Where should I drop you off?" I sighed. "There's a fast food place up ahead. Just leave me there." Ian's eyebrows furrowed like 2 bows, and the corners of his lips lifted. "Come with me." "Where?" "You'll see when we get there." Ian took me to a quiet bar I hadn't visited in ages. He didn't order alcohol, just drinks and snacks, my favorite tacos, grilled chicken, and burgers. He pushed the entire tray toward me, his gaze deep. "I remember these are all your favorites." Dig in. It instantly transported me back to my senior year. Back then, nearing graduation, I'd kill time at bars with my girlfriends. Not because I loved partying, but because the guy I secretly admired sang there, I'd come to cheer him on. I'd occasionally drag Ian along, and here he was, remembering my favorite foods. His slightly lazy chuckle snapped me back to reality. Bringing back painful memories? I shot him a glare. Give me a break. Only young people cry over love. Nowadays, I only shed tears over poverty. No sooner had the words left my mouth than a long, pale hand reached out. A stray lock of hair at the corner of my lips was gently tucked behind my ear. "Slow down." You almost ate your hair. Oh. I went back to shoveling food when a few people walked in. They knew Ian and swarmed over, chattering excitedly. They eyed me up and down with gossipy glances. I was drowning in their stares, one melon after another, the chaos growing dizzying. The kids couldn't hold back any longer, crowding around Ian with questions. How come Mr. Ian has time to come today? And this, what should we call her? Dina will be here soon. Is this how you two meet? The name Dina piqued my curiosity too. But when I glanced over, I saw his face had turned cold, his eyes dangerous. His voice was low and growling. Are you guys annoying or what? Get out of here now. The next moment, the boys scattered in a panic. From their tone, it was clear this girl named Dina and him had a complicated history. Wanting to avoid misunderstandings and not upset him, I suggested, I'm full. Should we go? Ian raised an eyebrow, seeing through me. Avoid misunderstandings? A little. Why would I stay? To watch your love story unfold. Ian pursed his lips, his eyes darting around before breaking into a devilishly handsome grin. We can leave now, but you have to agree to one condition. This kid had learned how to negotiate terms. I thought for a moment. Selling my body? No way. He laughed in exasperation, his tone sly. Miss, you're awfully confident. My fist clenched, but given our current situation, cursing him out wasn't exactly convenient. He tilted his lips upward and continued, though you do have reason to be confident. All right. That felt much better. So, what's the deal? He raised an eyebrow. How about you become my assistant? Caught completely off guard, I sprayed cola all over the floor. The next thing I knew, everything went white before my eyes. He handed me a few tissues. I frantically wiped my mouth, processing the news. It took me a few seconds to react. But you already have an assistant? As I spoke, I finished my drink. He nonchalantly pushed his untouched cup toward me. My current assistant is pregnant. She's delicate, so I want to let her take leave early. I was torn. Being an executive assistant is a coveted position many would kill for, but I'd never done it before and feared I wouldn't measure up. Let me think about it. Ian didn't press me, just chuckled softly. No rush. Take your time. I gulped down several sips of juice, my stomach aching from being so full. Can we go now? Ian glanced at his watch and nodded. This time should be about right for heading back. Want me to pack something for you? I frowned. How much did he think I could eat? He chuckled softly. Don't get me wrong, I meant to bring something back for your roommate as a late-night snack. I felt too embarrassed to eat and take home food. But Ian had already called the waiter and ordered a seafood, meat, and vegetable platter to go. Packing took a little time. Ian took the takeout bags and stood up, his tall, slender frame straightening. Behind him, a soft voice suddenly sounded. Ian, you're here too. Before the words faded, a tall, slender, beautiful girl appeared behind him. She was stunningly beautiful chestnut curls cascading down her shoulders, almond-shaped eyes, and an air of effortless elegance. Those mesmerizing almond eyes scanned me up and down, brimming with curiosity. My heart skipped a beat, a sense of foreboding washing over me. Ian's brow furrowed as he slowly turned, his voice dropping to sub-zero temperatures. Dina, you're here too? The girl nodded wildly, her eyes suddenly sparkling. Yeah, celebrating a friend's birthday, and this is a friend. I breathed a sigh of relief. The kid's answer was passable. But then, perhaps feeling it wasn't comprehensive enough, he blurted out a few more words. A very important friend. My eyes widened. Dina frowned. Thanks a lot, you bastard. Keeping those thoughts to yourself is perfectly fine, no need to voice them. Now look at her, flushed and biting her lip, frozen in place, utterly flustered. I forced a smile, trying to smooth things over, but then Ian stood up and blurted out, sounding thoroughly annoyed, Let's go. I was about to do the same when I scrambled to my feet. My survival instinct must have kicked in too hard. I didn't look where I was going and stepped right into a puddle of spilled Coke. My high heels slipped, and I lost my balance, In a split second, a strong, firm hand grabbed my arm. Inertia pulled me forward, and I leaned heavily against his shoulder. It all happened too fast. We bid Dina farewell in a pose that screamed public display of affection. I felt terrible and wanted to explain, but Ian didn't give me the chance. He hooked his arm around mine and practically dragged me out like a kidnapping. Dina's resentful gaze made me feel utterly guilty. Sitting in the passenger seat, shifting light and shadow danced across his face like dawn and dusk playing freely, willingly playing second fiddle to his arrogant good looks. Want to explain? Do explain? I ventured, boldly probing yet cautiously. Ian shook his head. No need. Oh. I strategically chose to shut up. Couples fight at the bedside but make up in bed. Maybe they'd be fine in a few days. But thinking of Dina, my heart felt sour and bitter. She looked barely younger than me, yet she carried a Chanel bag while I was only worthy of meme faces. From head to toe, I was comprehensively outclassed. Any sane person would know which one to choose. Lost in thought, the car had already pulled up outside my apartment complex. Ian didn't rush to open the door. His voice was gentle as he said, "Check with your roommate first. Is he done yet?" Seeing my puzzled look, he raised an eyebrow. I'm worried his boyfriend might still be there, and he'd be waiting downstairs for nothing. That snapped me out of my daze. If I rushed upstairs and accidentally ruined my bestie's romantic moment, she'd kill me. After confirming it was safe, I said goodbye to Ian and started to get out of the car. He suddenly called out to me. I turned back and met a pair of obsidian eyes. His gaze was clear as crystal, reminding me of the autumn sky at school. What do you want? He curved his lips into a smile, his gaze intense. The factory's too far. I'll pick you up tomorrow morning. Going to the warehouse alone tomorrow would be a bit of a struggle. Morning rush hour, an hour and a half on the subway, you could fart and get pushed back, so I readily agreed to Ian's offer. But tonight, Ian's words stirred something subtle within me. Back in school, he was such a loner, always trailing behind me. I loved teasing him for no reason. That once quiet kid now speaks and stutters and defies all logic. The assistant manager position is too rare. I wouldn't get it even if I queued up for a digger. I have no idea what this kid is thinking. Because of this, I ended up tossing and turning all night. Gradually, I dragged myself out of bed early, washed my hair, and threw on some makeup. Then, with dark circles under my eyes, I climbed into Ian's car. The moment I got in, his concerned gaze met mine. Didn't sleep well last night? Yeah. Then catch some shut-eye. I'll wake you when we get there. He reached into the back seat and handed me 2 food bags. Breakfast. Eat something if you're hungry. I opened them one by one. He prepared everything perfectly: coffee, croissants, muffins, fruit cups, all my favorites. I could skip sleep, but I couldn't skip a meal. After wolfing it all down, I caught Ian's lips twitching. He gave a wry smile and clarified, "Senior, you ate my portion too." Well, my nimble toes had already dug out a castle. I laughed awkwardly, trying to diffuse the tension with feigned sleepiness. With little sleep the night before and a full stomach now, I actually drifted off. When I woke up, the car was parked outside the factory. Ian was gone, but the AC was set to a comfortable temperature, and his jacket was draped over me. I glanced at my watch. Holy crap, I overslept. My dog's life is over. I scrambled toward the factory building. Ian was giving a tour to clients. He was playing the part perfectly, chatting and laughing with them, not a trace of his usual slacker demeanor. As I approached, I smoothed my clothes and walked over confidently. "Excuse me." Suddenly, amidst the crowd, I spotted a familiar tall figure. My words died in my throat. I froze completely. Vincent? I never imagined that the senior I'd secretly admired back then would now be my client. He paused for a moment, gave me a slight nod, and spoke softly. "Little Junior, it's been ages." I nodded, my professional smile successfully masking my inner shock. Back then, I harbored a crush on him, even writing love letters, but that secret admiration had ultimately fizzled out. Ian looked solemn, his expression betraying emotions I couldn't quite read. though I was certain he'd recognized Vincent immediately. Throughout the factory inspection, my mind wandered. I kept feeling Ian's gaze drifting toward me, though every time I looked at him, his eyes were fixed elsewhere. Afterward, following international protocol, we headed to the restaurant for the next event. As luck would have it, Vincent sat directly across from me. To avoid eye contact, I buried my head and ate voraciously. I'm the factory inspection sleepyhead, the lightning-fast eater. If I couldn't save face for him at work, I'd make up for it at the table. After drinking their fill, the bigwigs suddenly decided they wanted to sing. So, stuffed and tipsy, we headed straight to the KTV. Who else would go to a KTV in the middle of the afternoon? Vincent suddenly chuckled and asked me, "Why don't you come along too, little sister? It's been years since we last met. We should catch up properly." That fluttering feeling from before was gone, but the mood was set. Refusing would have been a buzzkill, so I gladly agreed. "I'll go too." Ian's cool voice sounded from the side. I suddenly remembered he had a meeting that afternoon and kindly suggested, "You have a meeting at 3 p.m. He didn't even bother lifting an eyelid. I canceled it. Ian fixed me with a serious stare, his words ringing out clearly. "I need to be with you. Wherever you go, I go." He paused. Just like back then, my heart skipped a beat. In that days, my youth returned. If I'd known listening to them sing would feel like facing a major battle, I'd never have come. Those bigwigs had lungs like chimneys. The moment they opened their mouths, the private room erupted in a cacophony of wails and screams, like the sound of ghosts wailing and cranes crying. I was numb. Ian and Vincent flanked me, one on each side, trapping me between two men. They were like ice and fire. Vincent was a smooth operator, handling the clients with effortless ease, while Ian hunkered in the corner, buried in his phone. Vincent handed me a microphone, his tone gentle. "Junior, let's sing a song together." I instinctively glanced at Ian. He seemed oblivious, not even lifting his head. For some reason, I found myself caring about his reaction. Seeing his lack of response, I finally plucked up the courage to take the mic. Vincent's singing was legendary back in school. Every school event had him as the finale act. My own singing was mediocre at best. Even nursery rhymes made me go off key, so I relied entirely on his lead to get through it. Just then, a client with a greasy face approached me. "Hey, beautiful, sing one with me." My instinct was to refuse, but in this setting, I had no choice but to grit my teeth and agree. Singing was one thing, but after belting out a line, he grabbed my delicate little hand. That was where I drew the line. "Singing is one thing, but why are you holding my hand?" I endured it, then subtly pulled my hand away. But he didn't get the hint, stubborn as a mule, reaching out his paw again. The atmosphere grew awkward. Vincent looked troubled. "Mr. Mike." The greasy guy shifted his expression, raising an eyebrow. "Mate." "Vincent, what do you mean?" Vincent's arms stiffened. The hand resting on his shoulder fell limply. He silently took a step back, head bowed, refusing to look at me. "Hey, sweetheart, just sing one song. You wouldn't refuse a favor, would you? Your factory audit isn't over yet." The guy put on a stern face and tried to grab my hand again. Just as I was about to pull away, someone suddenly yanked my collar, pulling me behind them. I turned around and met a pair of eyes blazing with fury. Ian yanked me behind him. That single movement made my heart skip 2 beats. The client's face drooped like a bulldog's. "Mr. Ian, what do you think you're doing?" Ian raised a hand, his tone teasing. "See this hand? My palm fits your face perfectly." "PH." A sharp slap echoed through the room. Everyone froze, the atmosphere in the private room plummeting below freezing. The man clutched his face, taking a moment to react. "Ian, you've lost your damn mind." Ian spoke coldly. "Try touching her again." With that, he grabbed my hand and turned to leave, leaving the entire private room staring at each other in shock. He pulled me into the car, and only then did I realize he'd been holding my hand the whole time. Combined with how he'd just protected me, my heart pounded like thunder, my ears burning red. The instant he let go, Ian reverted to his usual carefree demeanor. His gaze settled on my face as the corners of his mouth lifted. You're actually blushing? You didn't even do that when I kissed you at the company party. Fine. Whatever you say goes now. He drove me home. I stole several glances at him before finally blurting out, "So, today's incident won't affect the review, right?" Ian raised an eyebrow. "Mind your own business when it comes to handsome guys." After a pause, he asked, "If I hadn't intervened, would you have let him hold your hand?" "No way. Not even my little brother has touched me." I took a breath, but I just sang a song to placate him. After all these years in the workplace, I've mastered the art of apologizing. Ian frowned, his tone cool. Why should you suffer and pretend to be magnanimous? Sacrifice yourself to make others happy? I froze. I'd always seen him as a kid, but unnoticed, the boy I once shielded had grown into someone who could shield me from the storm. I took comfort in the thought that this child had grown up, but in truth, I'd overthought it. Before getting off the car, his words made my musings pointless. He suddenly called out to me, "Senior, you got something wrong just now." I turned around and he suddenly smiled. "Your hand? I already touched it earlier." Ian's fiery defense of me quickly spread throughout the entire company. My colleagues' attitudes toward me took a sharp turn for the better. Everyone greeted me with smiles, but I wasn't happy at all. Because of me, the factory inspection was effectively ruined. I wanted to apologize to him, but he sent me running to fetch him a latte instead. It wasn't far, but the place was incredibly hard to find. In the sweltering summer heat, I dashed through streets and alleys until my makeup melted off. By the time I returned to the office, barely alive, a thunderclap struck. Just moments ago, Ian's mother had arrived. They slammed the door shut and bellowed at each other, their voices as loud as 2 machine guns firing in the office. A few minutes earlier, his mother stormed out in fury. She passed me by perfectly. A thought struck me. Ignoring the stares around me, I headed straight for his office. Ian's eyes lit up when he saw me, acting as if nothing had happened. "You're finally back." I'm dying of thirst for my coconut milk latte. The more he acted like this, the more uncomfortable I felt. Clutching my long-awaited watermelon latte, I lost all appetite. After a few seconds of silence, I couldn't help but ask, "The chairman was here earlier?" Ian sucked hard on his straw. "Yeah, he came by. We discussed yesterday's matter." "Discussed? You call that discussing?" I didn't call him out. After a long silence, I sighed. Maybe I should ask Vincent to put in a good word for me. Ian's reaction was like stepping on an accelerator. "Why would you ask him? Don't ask him. I can handle it." His intense reaction caught me off guard. I nodded after a moment. He exhaled in relief, a smile curling his lips. "If you feel guilty, just agree to be my assistant." I'd completely forgotten about that offer, but clearly he hadn't. With the whole company gossiping about us, agreeing now felt awkward. I started to refuse, but the words froze on my lips. I was forced back by the intensity in his eyes. "Fine." Seeing my agreement, Ian beamed, his tightened lips curving wildly upward. "Great. Just give me a few days to process the personnel changes." He shifted gears. "By the way, are you free tonight?" I was about to say yes, but then remembered I planned to ask Vincent to intercede. Tonight won't work. My best friend's having a birthday party. Ian's upturned corners slowly fell, his expression turning slightly downcast. I couldn't help asking, "Something up tonight?" He hesitated, then said, "Oh no, go ahead." Staring at Vincent's profile picture, I hesitated for ages before mustering all my courage to send him a genuine invitation. He agreed quickly, suggesting we meet at 7 p.m. at the bar where he used to work, the same one Ian took me to last time. When we met, he smiled and pushed beer and snacks toward me. "You asked me out tonight because of yesterday, right?" I looked at him, remembering his choice yesterday so different from Ian's. Instead of feeling disappointed, I felt an indescribable sense of relief. That handsome face before me no longer held any power over me. You know Ian too. He has a bit of a temper. Could you put in a good word for me? Vincent gave a wry smile, looking somewhat troubled. Our boss is pretty upset. How about I have him apologize? I waved my hands repeatedly. Better not. How about I go? I ventured tentatively. Vincent stared at me in silence. The dim light cast shifting shadows across his face, concealing any emotion. That wouldn't be right. You weren't the one who hit him. He looked at me in surprise, his voice low and heavy. This is my responsibility. If it really doesn't work out, I'll go apologize to them. They can even yell at me a bit. This was Ian's first order since taking over, and failure was not an option. He stared at me blankly, his eyes as dark and deep as the night outside the window. After a few seconds of silence, he suddenly sighed. All right, I'll give it a shot. I'll do my best. I clasped my hands together. Thank you, Senior. A flicker of resignation crossed Vincent's eyes, followed by a wry smile. Since when did you start being so formal with me? I froze. When did it start? I couldn't even say. The atmosphere grew awkward. Vincent sighed, his expression shifting strangely as he hesitated. Yesterday. You don't blame me, do you? I waved my hands quickly and Vincent's expression eased a little. After a while, I said goodbye and walked out of the bar with him. Vincent murmured, My car's parked by the road. Let me drive you home. I smiled and declined. Vincent didn't insist, just gave a quick wave and left. As I was about to walk away, my eyes caught a familiar figure out of the corner of my eye. I looked up, my heart pounding wildly. Ian stood across the street. We locked eyes, separated only by the road, surrounded by the same group of guys from last time. Cars streamed by, obscuring his face intermittently. I froze. Ian's face was tense, his expression stern, the corners of his eyes reddened, and he reeked faintly of alcohol. Only then did I notice their flushed faces. Clearly this was their second round. He remained silent, but the boys erupted. Daphne, what are you doing here? Ian said you weren't coming today. Amidst the chatter, I noticed one of the boys clutching a cake and casually asked, Whose birthday is it? Mine. Ian lifted his eyes lazily. I froze for a few seconds, remembering how he'd hesitated to speak at work earlier, so that's what he'd been trying to tell me. Daphne, come in and have a drink with us, said the guy holding the cake. My smile was forced. I dared not stay. But their enthusiasm was overwhelming until Ian finally saved me. Everyone, cut it out. Silencing the group, Ian pulled out his phone. I'll drive you home. The boys looked stunned. Bro, what about us? Ian frowned. You guys keep drinking. I'll be back soon. I felt it was too much of a fuss and quickly refused. It's fine. Don't let me hold you back. He looked up, his eyes sparkling. Still want perfect attendance? Not that I mind. Ian hailed a minivan. He leaned back in his seat, eyes closed, resting. The car fell into an unusual silence. This kid was usually so talkative. His sudden quietness felt a bit unsettling. Summoning all my courage, I spoke up, trying to explain. I met with Vincent today to try and salvage this project. He gave a slight nod. I know. After a pause, he added, I told you I'll handle this. How do you plan to resolve it? Ian slowly opened his eyes, turned his face to glance at me, and fluttered his long lashes. A shadow fell over his eyes, obscuring any emotion. They've already procured all the ingredients. Tons of them have been hauled into our factory. Do you think they'll just take them back? Ian suddenly pursed his lips and sneered. They've committed to this. Let them try finding another factory to produce it, see if they can meet the deadline. I looked at him skeptically. Really? This client is someone I'd have to beg on my knees to get. Ian turned, his gaze gentler than the night sky. I nearly lost myself in it. Senior. His tone was so soft it made my heart skip a beat. He suddenly leaned closer. Watching that handsome face draw nearer, my mind went blank. His face stopped mere inches from mine, his voice low against my ear. You don't need to stand on tiptoe. I'll bend down for you. I never imagined Ian could utter such a seductive line. My impression of him had always been someone who switched between hyperactivity and paralysis, Yet here he was, unexpectedly tender. The van stopped outside the residential compound. I got out and turned around. Holy crap. Why did he get out too? The van slowly drove away, leaving me utterly confused. Why aren't you going back? Ian's eyes were hazy with drunkenness, a faint smile playing on his lips. I'll wait until you enter the building before I leave. A strange feeling welled up inside me. You! He chuckled. Go on up. Get some rest. I stared at him for a long moment. He raised an eyebrow. Seriously, it's fine. If you don't go up now, it's because you don't want to leave me. I was speechless. After giving him a few parting words, I turned and headed upstairs, glancing back every few steps. My best friend was at her boyfriend's tonight, leaving me alone at home. After showering, I collapsed on the couch, lost in thought. It hit me today was Ian's birthday. His downcast eyes from earlier made me feel guilty, so I sent him a happy birthday message. Ian replied instantly. You didn't even know it was my birthday? That hurts. Me, I thought your birthday was in December? Ian, that was just a joke I made while gaming with my senior. All right then. After a pause, I quickly typed, I'll make up for the birthday gift tomorrow. He started acting spoiled. Ian, can it be today? Seriously, this guy is so demanding. After mulling it over, I replied, Me, only because you're leaving. Otherwise, I'd definitely invite you upstairs to wish you happy birthday in person. Ian, I'm coming right up. Who can tell me why he's not going home in the middle of the night? Young, handsome guys these days, do they have zero self-preservation instincts? Late at night, having a super handsome guy come to my place made me a little nervous. He's so good-looking, and we've both been drinking. I'm notorious for my terrible drinking habits. I kissed him in front of everyone. Now it's just the two of us, and I'm genuinely worried I might cross the line. Ian came upstairs, his eyes twinkling mischievously. Daphne, where's my present? In the middle of the night? Where am I supposed to find him a present? What do you want? Ian raised an eyebrow, chuckling softly. What if I could have anything I wanted? I was curious to hear what shameless demand this kid would come up with. I want to stay here tonight. I jumped back in surprise. Why don't you go home? He rubbed his temples and sighed. I drank too much. Left my keys and wallet at the restaurant. I studied him for a long moment, unsure if he was telling the truth. Fine. This kid went to such lengths to get close to me. It wasn't easy for him. He finally lit up, like a husky let off its leash. Then I'm going to take a shower. Yin. While he showered, I curled up on the couch, killing time by watching a movie. My eyes were glued to the actor's tempting six-pack on the screen, but my mind was on Ian. To be honest, ever since he stood up for me, I'd started reevaluating my feelings toward him. Before, I'd genuinely only seen him as a little brother. But now I suddenly felt a flutter in my heart toward him, and it was growing stronger by the minute. The door creaked open, snapping me back to reality. My eyes darted toward him instinctively and instantly got stuck on his six-pack abs, even more perfect than the actors on screen. Just that brief glance was enough to send me over the edge. His bare torso was flawlessly sculpted, those defined abs impossible to ignore. I lost all composure. Why aren't you wearing a shirt? He strode toward me with long strides, each step feeling like a stomp on my heart. My clothes reek of alcohol. It's uncomfortable to wear them. He sat down across from me. Spotting the male celebrity with defined ABs on the TV, he paused. Then his lips curved into a smirk. So this is what you like, senior? My face flushed bright red. I scrambled to my feet. I'll go find you a t-shirt. It was all because his abs were too perfect. In my haste, my feet slipped. I lost my balance and plopped right onto his lap. Our foreheads touched. His lashes fluttered slightly, brushing my face like feathers. Our eyes locked. His gaze felt like a red-hot branding iron, scorching my skin. I scrambled to stand, clutching his ABs for support, then bolted back to my room to rummage through my clothes. Ian slipped on the t-shirt I tossed him. His ABs vanished beneath the fabric, leaving me with a pang of disappointment. He frowned, his tone laced with complexity. Why do you have men's clothes at home? I froze. Lots of girls like to sleep in loose t-shirts. It's called boyfriend style. Ian's taut lips curved upward. He tugged at the collar and sniffed. Your clothes smell so good. Really nice. He's this handsome and he talks like this? Who could resist? The night sky and you were both so gentle tonight. I feared I might lose control, pounce on him like a wild woman. The consequences were too terrifying to imagine. He blinked those watery, almond-shaped eyes, his gaze half-drunk, half-dazed. Daphne, where should I sleep tonight? That was an excellent question. My bed was quite large. 2 people could easily fit. Ooh, what kind of trash is filling my head? You'll sleep in my room tonight. I'll take my best friend's room. He nodded, a smile playing at his lips. Don't worry. I'll lock the door tonight. You don't need to worry about losing control. I really didn't want to talk to this guy anymore. Waving him off, I said, time to sleep. Good night. As I reached the doorway, he suddenly called out to me. He gazed at me, his obsidian eyes unusually bright. Senior, what about my gift? I'll give it to you tomorrow. A faint smile touched his lips. No, I want it now. With that, he suddenly pulled me toward him. Caught completely off guard, I found myself swept into his embrace. I was utterly dumbfounded. A surge of youthful exuberance washed over me, and my heart, which had just calmed, began pounding wildly again. Held tightly in his embrace, an unfamiliar sense of security washed over me. Surprisingly, I didn't push him away. Ian only hugged me for a moment, yet I found myself effortlessly sinking into his arms. That night, I lay awake, my mind swirling with thoughts of him. The next morning, the guy was up even earlier than me. Still half asleep, I stumbled into the living room to find him meticulously styling his hair in front of the mirror. Morning! His smile was effortless, as if he'd forgotten everything that happened last night. I frowned. Why are you up so early? I have to appoint you as my assistant at the conference today. Gotta make it look impressive. He paused, turned to glance at me, and curved his lips into a teasing smile. Your dark circles are pretty heavy. Lost sleep last night. Couldn't stop. Couldn't resist. I couldn't take it anymore. Shut up. Only then did he obediently shut up, chuckling. Hurry up and get ready. I already bought breakfast. We'll eat in the car. This kid had a sharp tongue, but he was thoughtful. I'd once casually mentioned my obsession with the Mexican burritos from the breakfast joint downstairs, and Ian got up early to buy them for me, not even minding that I'd smoke his car out like a barbecue joint. He was in a great mood today, humming to himself the whole time. Everyone else had arrived except his mother. The meeting could start any minute. His mom was the last to walk in, followed by a girl who looked vaguely familiar. The moment Ian saw her, his eyebrows furrowed and his expression turned blank. She brushed past me, her eyes filled with hostility. I racked my brain, my head buzzing, until it finally clicked. Dina, why was she here too? The staff meeting proceeded normally. Throughout, Dina kept staring at me, her gaze fierce. I couldn't figure out what she was so smug about. When the agenda reached personnel changes, Ian's mother cleared her throat and announced, additionally, the new general manager's assistant has been selected. Ian's lips curled upward involuntarily. She paused, her eyes locked on me, and said slowly, Dina. It hit me like a bolt from the blue. I froze while Dina flashed a triumphant grin. I felt a bit annoyed, but honestly, the position meant little to me. But Ian wasn't having it. Furious, she stormed out without a second glance at the two of them. The room instantly fell into awkward silence. His mom's aura was so intimidating that no one dared to speak out of turn. Once the meeting finally ended, the group chat instantly turned into a gossip fest. The onlookers only knew Ian was unhappy with his mom's arrangement, but no one knew that Ian had originally planned to have me there. I was afraid of getting caught up in my own family drama, so I kept a low profile. Just then a message popped up. I opened it. It was from Ian. It was just one simple word. Sorry, reading it, I felt a pang of unease. this mess wasn't entirely his fault. I offered him some reassurance, telling him not to take it to heart. Whether he got the assistant role or not didn't matter to me, as long as he didn't dwell on it. After replying, a pair of high heels suddenly appeared before me. I looked up to find a pair of smiling, almond-shaped eyes. I froze. Our professional paths didn't intersect. We had nothing to discuss. Dina beamed at me, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Miss Daphne, my apologies for this." Her outburst drew stares from the onlookers. I ignored her. "I'm busy, thank you very much." Her smile dripped with sarcasm. "Moving forward, I'm Ian's assistant. If you have anything to pass along, just give it to me." I frowned, wishing I could roll my eyes enough to make it hurt. "You should be telling that to someone else." She declared her authority with a cold laugh. "Oh, right. Ian has a meeting soon. I'll be accompanying him." I couldn't be bothered to argue with her. Her sweet-talking act would eventually turn stale. Working these days really tests your mental fortitude. I kept quiet when I got screwed over, but Dina just keeps rubbing salt in the wound. Our company has no internal drive, only internal competition. Dina's only been here a few days, and she's already tripped me up. Today we had a VIP client visiting, a big shot among VIPs. Ian and I were assigned to host her. Ian got tied up in a last-minute meeting and asked me to greet her first. As I reached the door, Dina's thickly sweet voice floated up behind me. She approached carrying an exquisitely packaged mini cake and handed it to me. "This client adores this flavor. We always prepare it for her visits. Take it inside." Without a second thought, I reached out and took it. As I turned, I instinctively glanced at her. Just then, a faint, almost imperceptible sneer flickered at the corner of her mouth. Thinking I must have imagined it, I didn't dwell on it and walked inside with the cake. The client seemed quite pleased at first, but the moment I unwrapped the cake, her expression changed dramatically. "I'm allergic to mango. Did you try to poison me by serving me mango pudding? I'm one of your company's biggest clients. I never eat mango, didn't you know? Are you new here?" It clicked. That bitch Dina had set me up. She knew full well the client couldn't have mango and deliberately had me deliver it. Open hostility is easy to dodge, but underhanded treachery is impossible to guard against. I held back my anger, determined to calm her down. But she only got more worked up, pointing at me and yelling, "Do you know who I am? I single-handedly bring in a third of your company's annual sales. If you don't like it, get lost." At first, I didn't want to cause trouble for Ian, but then she threw in a curse word, and I couldn't take it anymore. You don't hit someone where it hurts. You don't insult their family. Don't you know basic etiquette? I frowned. "Could you please speak calmly?" She sneered. "Who do you think you are? What's wrong with me cursing you? I'll get your boss to fire you. He wouldn't dare keep you." Yes, you're so precious." "No wonder pork prices are skyrocketing." She froze. "You're cursing me?" I cursed at the pig. Her lips turned purple with rage as she fumbled for her phone. "Fine, wait right here. I'm calling your boss now." I'd already thrown caution to the wind. Taking a big bite of mango pudding, I said, "Go ahead. Call him. I'll wait." By the time Ian arrived, I'd just finished the mango pudding. He glanced around the scene, then fixed his gaze on my face and instinctively frowned. My heart sank. Looks like he's sacrificing the pawn to save the king. I understood his reasoning, but knowing it was him made an uncontrollable wave of resentment well up inside me. The moment the client saw Ian's godlike looks, her attitude did a complete 180. She turned teary-eyed and started accusing me. "Ian, I watched you grow up. She just called me a pig. You have to fire her or I can't continue working with you." Ian remained expressionless as he strode over to me with his long legs. Suddenly he raised his hand. Fearing he might strike me, I instinctively closed my eyes. His hand brushed lightly against my lips. Startled, I opened my eyes to find a smear of mango jam on his fingertip. A faint smile touched his lips as he spoke with unexpected gentleness. "You have jam on your lips. Let me wipe it off for you." My heart skipped several wild beats. The client fumed. "Ian, what do you think you're doing?" Fire her or I'm pulling out of this deal. Ian turned away, his voice icy. Then we won't be delivering it. His reaction caught me off guard. My heart was in turmoil, overwhelmed by both gratitude and guilt. Staring into his obsidian eyes, I managed a weak smile. I've caused trouble again, but trust me, I didn't arrange this cake. Ian nodded, ruffling my hair with a warm, gentle voice. I believe you. It felt like being struck by lightning. If I'd only harbored a crush before, now I was utterly lost. Ian's lips curved upward. Don't worry about it. I've got this. All right, he completely flooded my heart. That's simple. I've got this. Though not as passionate as I love you, carried an inexplicable sense of security. He gently tickled my nose, his tone indulgent. All right. You vented your anger eating the cake. We should head out now. I nodded and followed him out. After all that commotion, a crowd had gathered outside. Dina hurried over and snapped at Ian. She's alienated our biggest client this time. If she doesn't get fired, we'll lose this deal for sure. Ian nodded silently. She started whispering in his ear again. In that moment, I dashed back to my workstation, poured a cup of liquid from a bottle, and flung it all over her face. If I didn't vent this anger now, she'd bully me to death. Ah! Dina, drenched in public, turned pale with shock. Her nerves couldn't handle it. Clutching Ian's arm, she began sobbing uncontrollably. I'm calling the police. Someone called the police. She splashed me. I sneered coldly. Splashed you? Watch your words. I just gave you a spritz of toner. Remember to pat it in. After a pause, I glared at her. Next time, I'll use makeup remover. Though I'd vented my anger, I knew my career was over. This incident had blown up big, and I didn't want Ian to shoulder it alone. The best solution was for me to take the fall and resign. I drafted my resignation letter, slipped it into his locker while he was out, then hurried off work. On my way home, my roommate texted that she was spending the night at her boyfriend's place again. Fine by me. At least I'd have some peace and quiet. Ian sent me several messages. Seeing I didn't reply, he finally called my phone. Staring at the ringing device, I hesitated, unsure whether to answer. I'd already caused him enough trouble. I truly didn't want to add to his burdens. I hung up the call, then turned off my phone. Clutching a few cans of beer, I sat on the balcony and drank in silence. Only now did I realize my feelings for Ian went far beyond mere attraction. I was hopelessly, irrevocably lost to him. The thought of possibly never seeing him again sent my heart plummeting to the depths, and I drowned myself in alcohol to numb the pain. Knock, knock, knock. Suddenly, a series of knocks echoed at the door. Staggering drunkenly, I went to open the door. The sight that greeted me sent a chill down my spine. Standing outside was Ian. His chest heaved violently, his face a mask of utter despair. His eyes instantly reddened at the sight of me. He grabbed my wrist, his gaze burning into mine. Daphne, please don't leave me. Before I could respond, he suddenly leaned down, cupping my head and pressed a frenzied kiss against my lips. In that instant, my mind went blank. The last shred of my rationality completely shattered. The kiss lingered for an eternity before he finally released me. My heart pounded like thunder, and for a moment I dared not lift my gaze to meet his. Ian's gentle voice came from above me. Clients can be replaced, but I can't live without you. My heart pounded so hard it felt like it would leap from my chest. But Ian cut me off. I'll explain things to my mother. As for Dina, I've already let her go. I looked up in shock, speechless. He chuckled softly, gently rubbing my nose. She didn't know the reception room door's surveillance has audio recording. Everything she said to you was captured. I showed her the footage. Resigning voluntarily was her best option. But your mother... A warm kiss landed on my lips as he murmured into my ear. Don't worry about her. Trust me. Life won't crush me. The only thing that crushes me is you. I was completely lost. Before Ian could reach out to his mother, she found me first. The next day, she invited me out for coffee. When Ian found out, he insisted on tagging along. I had no choice but to give in. He drove me there. On the way, my phone suddenly rang. Seeing the caller ID, I shot Ian a troubled glance. Ian glanced down, raised an eyebrow, and a sour note filled the car. Still in touch? I quickly denied it. No. He stroked his chin, smiling at me. Answer it. I'm not the jealous type. Huh. I picked up the phone. Vincent's voice came through. Junior, our boss decided to continue the collaboration. Great. Thank you so much, I said, relieved. Vincent gave a wry smile. Actually, you can't thank me. Seems like Ian handled it himself. I glanced at Ian. The guy had a smug grin on his face. There was a pause on the line before Vincent's low chuckle reached me again. Junior, if you have time tonight, I'd like to treat you to dinner. I nearly dropped my phone in shock and quickly refused. No, I already have a boyfriend. With that, I hurriedly hung up. Ian rubbed his nose, his tone teasing. I told you I could handle it. How did you pull that off? Ian's expression turned slightly smug. Turns out their boss is the mom of one of my old college classmates. I stared at him in disbelief. Dude, why didn't you say so sooner? He sighed. I only found out after I went to their company. You went to apologize? Ian snorted haughtily. No, I went to give them another chance to work with us. The cafe Ian's mom booked was inside the city's most luxurious mall. Any random item of clothing in there could easily cost several months of my salary. When she saw Ian and me walk in together, her expression instantly changed. Why are you here too? Ian gave me a gentle look and smoothly took my hand. I heard you wanted to meet her, so I thought I'd introduce you to my girlfriend. Her expression darkened visibly. Ian seemed oblivious, gallantly pulling out my chair before sitting beside me once I was seated. His mother fixed us with an unpredictable stare and declared coldly, I disapprove of your relationship. I froze. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Shouldn't she have just flung money at me and ordered me to stay away from her son? Ian took my hand and chuckled softly. Do you remember how I withdrew into myself after our family business failed? My classmates mocked me at school. His mother paused, her expression unreadable. I couldn't continue at that university. Some classmates had business ties to our family and knew about your bankruptcy. They started ridiculing me, so I transferred. At the new school, I had no friends either. Except for one kind senior, everyone else ignored me because I kept to myself. I've told you about her before, remember? His mother nodded silently, her gaze drifting toward me. Ian's warm hand gently stroked the back of mine, his voice soft and tender. Now I've brought that person to you. His mother's expression toward me gradually shifted. After a moment of silence, she sighed softly, lifted her coffee cup, and said to me in a calm tone, The coffee here is quite good. Try some. After meeting his mother, Ian took my hand and led me outside. I had 1,000 questions I wanted to ask him. You told your mom about me so early on. Ian's lips curved slightly. Yeah. Back then, at home, I only laughed when chatting with you or playing games. She asked who I was, so I told her, a really cute senior. He paused, letting out a soft sigh. Too bad this really cute senior had feelings for someone else. I pouted, about to scold him for bringing up old stuff. He suddenly chuckled softly, but luckily, I finally waited for her. I suddenly remembered Dina. Aren't you and Dina dating? Why are there rumors at the company that she's your girlfriend? Ian raised an eyebrow. She likes me. My mom wants me to be with her because their family has a business partnership with our company. So that time I caught your aunt hitting you, was that because of her too? Yeah, she always plays the victim in front of my mom. I sighed. Never thought I'd run into you at the company. He pulled me closer, smiling softly. And I never thought you'd become my girlfriend. I pouted. What else didn't you expect? The curve of his lips grew wider. I never expected you'd dare kiss me in front of all these people. This guy, I shoved him, only to be pulled tighter, kissing me in front of everyone. I haven't even paid you back yet. But you kissed me yesterday. His alluring almond-shaped eyes held a temptation I couldn't resist. I watched his Adam's apple bob as he suppressed his voice, whispering, "But right now, I just want." My heart thundered. Wrapping my arms around his neck, I closed my eyes and took the initiative to greet his lips with an intimate kiss. Only this time I was perfectly clear-headed. I knew exactly who I loved.